Alright, man, what's good, YouTube? Trizzy Gang in the hood. Trizzy Gang, what's good, family? Y'all see my energy is not there, y'all? You boys definitely sick. This last video, I'm gonna say it, bro. Because I don't want no comments about, bro, look like you don't even want to do the video or anything like that, y'all. I'm sick, but the grind don't stop. You know what I'm saying? The grind cannot stop. You feel me? But today, we are going to be checking out making the case for Michael Jordan. Now, I obviously just did the one of Larry Bird. And I have to say, I was quite impressed. You know what I'm saying? I was definitely impressed. So impressed that I ended up putting Larry Bird number 2 all time. Larry Bird is my second best player or greatest player of all time. He is. Right behind Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? And today, this video is going to tell me why exactly I have Michael Jordan at number 1 and not Larry Bird. I said Larry Bird is a better player, I would say, skill-wise, than Michael Jordan, but he's not a greater player than him. He isn't. And part of that, you could say, is because he had to retire earlier. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what Larry Bird's full career would have looked like. You feel me? But we're going to take this out. Shout out to Clayton. You feel me? Rototon Cat, let's see what it's talking about, man.
Basketball is special. The size of the court and the lack of pads or helmets give fans the most intimate experience of a team sport that exists. And because of the different styles that basketball allows for, players develop their own distinct identities and signature styles through their creativity, flair,
No, this is intro.
and athleticism. Sport game. Most hotly contested question in the sport, only one right answer. But I believe that there's much. My count, there are 8 players. I can't give you a definitive case.
Alright. That's Clay's intro. He does that every single video, y'all. So I had to skip over it. See MJ.
Well, what can I say? What on earth can I say about Michael Jordan's case as the greatest basketball player to ever live that hasn't been said before? What do you think I'm going to talk about that didn't get covered in the 10-hour documentary that premiered at a time when there was no other sports content? There's no forgotten game that I can tell you about that shows just how good Jordan was. We've all seen those games. Every possible angle of the Michael Jordan case has been dissected inside and out. There are no original takes when it comes to the subject. Michael Jordan is a ubiquitous figure in large part because he was and is a brand. And what do American advertisers love more than a good brand? The good people at McDonald's, Nike, Gatorade, and the NBA itself succeeded in making sure that damn near everyone in the world knew that Michael Jordan played in the NBA and that he was a winner. I mean, honestly, when you see the
Nah, that ass. Michael Jordan is seriously like that. I said Michael. Oh my gosh, y'all. It's rough for me right now, y'all. It's rough. But nah, in all seriousness, Michael Jordan is literally like the Michael Jackson of the NBA, bro. Like, seriously. Seriously. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. They made sure his branding was on point. No cap.
Jordan played in the NBA and that he was a winner. I mean, honestly, when you see the number 23 anywhere, don't you immediately think of Michael Jordan? I mean, even if you're a LeBron fan, you have to admit that that is Michael Jordan's number. And the craziest part about the Jordan experience is that as he became a global icon, he did nothing but continue to deliver the goods. What iconic moment can I show you that you haven't already seen 100 times? His cradle dunk in college, the game winner in the '82 NCAA championship, the free throw line dunk, pouring in a record 63 points against the '86 Celtics, the shot, his spectacular move,
Bro, clips for days.
the double nickel against the Knicks, the flu game, passing to Steve Kerr for championship number 5. These are sequences and moments burned into every basketball fan's consciousness. Every one of those moments served to propel Jordan higher and higher in the cultural zeitgeist until he was one of, maybe, the 5 most famous human beings on the planet. And yet, the inevitable passage of time has eroded the consensus around Jordan's GOAT status, especially with younger people who might not have been alive to see him play. That's not to say that there aren't young people who don't see him as the GOAT, but it's not as airtight as it once was. Now, I'd hate to speculate on behalf of an entire generation of basketball fans, but here I go anyway. I was 516 days old when Michael Jordan won his last championship. I can't remember much about it. And I think that people who didn't live through Jordan's prime are a little tired of hearing how great he was. Of course, people want to...
Not even, man. Not even. You feel me? Because I'm now doing my homework, and I'm really starting to realize how great he was. You feel me? Same with a lot of these other players. Same with Larry Bird. You know what I'm saying? Magic Johnson. Some of the players I've been checking out, y'all, like, I'm really starting to realize how great they really were. I already knew they was great, but, like, it's a different level. You know what I'm saying?
Jordan's prime are a little tired of hearing how great he was. Of course, people want to be alive to see greatness. They want to be able to say, I saw the best ever. Now, I don't think that makes it right, but it's part of the explanation. The other part is that Jordan's celebrity seems to cloud everything he did. At times, it feels almost like propaganda. How many times have you seen this? Some basketball account on Twitter or somewhere on the internet celebrates the anniversary of something that, say, Wilt Chamberlain did. And in the comments, somebody says something like, Wilt Chamberlain, the most dominant player I ever saw. And then someone comes back unfailingly and says, in all caps, did you never see Michael Jordan play? It's not just that you have to acknowledge Jordan as the GOAT, it's that you cannot talk about the merits of anyone else's case. The internet would have you.
And at the end of the day, y'all, that just comes down to every player, everybody's favorite player. That's how everybody talks about their favorite player. Because if I talk about Curry, y'all bring up how, oh, he's not even better than this person. He's not better than this person. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how a lot of the Larry Bird fan base is. You feel me? And that's because of how great he really was. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, it really comes down to everybody does that with their favorite player, bro. Everybody. You know what I'm saying?
I believe that Michael Jordan won every game he played and made every shot he took. And that kind of talk regame anyone else's case. The internet would have you believe that Michael Jordan won every game he played and made every shot he took. And that kind of talk breeds resentment from people who want to appreciate other players' accomplishments. Because he wasn't perfect. He didn't win every game. He didn't make every shot. And you can have a debate about who the greatest of all time is. Clayton, what the heck, dude? I thought this was supposed to be a video about why he is the GOAT. It is. All of that is just to say that that's how this is gonna go. I'm not going to try to convince you that he was perfect. Because if you can separate the legend and the...
we do not like the bias shit. That's exactly why I forgot who you were in the comments, but shout out to you. You said I gotta check out all of Clayton's Making the Case videos because he's not doing the bias shit, bro. He's just gonna give you the facts. And that's what we can appreciate, bro. That's literally what we can appreciate because we know Jordan wasn't perfect. Hell, we know he was getting his ass beat by Bird. You know what I'm saying? So good. I'm glad he's not about to make it on some like D-riding shit.
To try to convince you that he was perfect. Because if you can separate the legend and the basketball player, it's more than enough. Oh, and by the way, we're going to ignore his Wizards career as much as we can. It's just the right thing to do. So, Michael Jordan, the basketball player. What do we have? In 13 seasons with the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan was a 6-time champion, 6-time Finals MVP, 5-time regular season MVP, a 12-time All-Star, was selected to 10 first-team All-NBAs, made second-team All-NBA in his rookie season, was the Defensive Player of the Year in 1988, had 9 All-Defensive first-team selections, was a 10-time scoring leader, and in college won the 1982 NCAA Championship and was named the 1984 NCAA Player of the Year. Without a word of analysis or commentary, that resume is screaming about one of the most decorated and successful basketball players in history.
Facts.
Jordan's case is related to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's in that you can pick from just about any criteria you want to, and you'll find enough evidence to support his reputation. First and foremost, Jordan might well be the greatest scorer in basketball history. Ignoring his 2 years with the Wizards, Jordan's scoring average was 31.5 points per game. Michael Jordan in a Bulls jersey scored more points on an average night than any other player ever. Including his Wizards tenure, he averaged 30.12 points per game, still the highest of any player ever, beating out Wilt Chamberlain by a few decimal places. The style of Jordan's play was only matched by the substance of his game. Every ounce of athleticism that brought comparisons to Dr. J was matched by footwork that could only be seen in players like Hakeem Olajuwon. His acrobatic layups are underscored by his unerring technique and diligence that make him a case study in fundamentals. At his peak, he tortured guards in the post, eluded big men with his electric first step, developed into the best mid-range scorer of all time, and ran Phil Jackson's triangle for all it was worth. He had nearly every offensive facet of the game in his toolbox, and he pulled out that toolbox every night. He has the highest usage rate of all time, scoring in volume on a nightly basis. But he also pushes advanced metrics and efficiency stats to their breaking points. He has the highest player efficiency ranking ever, the highest offensive box plus minus ever, the 5th most win shares, the most...
Bro, are y'all hearing these stats, bro? Are y'all hearing these stats? I didn't really want to pause because I'm like, bro, my third going through y'all. Y'all already get on me for pausing, but, you know, I'm going to do it. You feel me? But are y'all hearing these stats? Like, it's just crazy. I just feel like with all these stats taken into account, sure, you can lose. You can still lose, y'all. Nobody's going to have a picture-perfect resume in the NBA. As for like being the GOAT, you didn't really lose. You came in instantly winning, and you like, bro, it don't work like that. Not everybody's story is built to be that way, bro. Y'all do have to realize when it comes to the NBA, bro, not everybody's gonna go straight into winning. Some people is gonna take a minute, they're gonna be getting their head beaten, and then they win. You feel me? That's just how it works, y'all. My bad. Sorry, some people are doing some work downstairs. Don't mind the sound. That's why I'm playing the video.
Win shares per 48 minutes, an outstanding true shooting percentage, and so on. It is unfathomable to me that Jordan combined such unprecedented volume with such pristine efficiency. His opponents were allowed little reprieve on the other end of the floor, as Jordan quickly developed into one of the league's premier defenders. In 1988, Jordan led the league in scoring with 35 points a game, won the MVP, and was named Defensive Player of the Year after...
You got MVP, DPOY in the same season? I know Jordan's not the only one to do that, y'all. But I'm just saying that... Wait, what was the first one?
It's premier defenders. In 1988, Jordan led the league in scoring with 30...
And you got the... Oh, man, I ain't gonna lie. You led the league in scoring, so you got the scoring title. You got MVP, and you got DPOY? That alone is crazy. I'm over here thinking, Shay, this past year was crazy for getting MVP, All-Star, not All-Star MVP, Finals MVP, the scoring title as well. I believe he got the scoring title as well. I thought that was crazy. Now, if you would have went to the Finals and got Finals MVP that year, I would be like, nobody can say anything about that season for you. No, not even that season. Nobody can say anything about you because that's just crazy. But even what you did get is wild.
5 points a game, won the MVP, and was named Defensive Player of the Year after leading the league in steals. Jordan defended opponents like a shark smelling blood. He forced bad passes, contested shots, leapt passing lanes, all while talking enough trash to sell a pay-per-view fight. There might not have ever been a more nightmarish matchup on both ends of the floor. He could go into games, tell his own team to stay out of the way, dunk on his defender, and then put that guy in a straitjacket the second he crossed half court.
Oh, he's on that.
Despite the ungodly amount of energy that he must have expended every night, Jordan was one of the most durable and consistent players of his generation. Aside from his injury-shortened 86 season and his mid-season comeback in 95, Jordan never missed more than 4 games in a single season. In 8 of his Chicago seasons, he played all 82 games. The objective of a basketball game is to score more points than your opponent, right? So you'd love a player who can score a buttload of points. You'd also love a player who keeps the other team from scoring points. When you put those two things together, the best scorer ever and one of the most tenacious defenders in history, you get Michael Jordan, whose peak reaches into uncharted airspace. Michael Jordan, at his best, was better than everyone. Plain and simple. He would score, defend, and play in such a way that made winning second nature. No one else has ever tasted the air at the top of peak Jordan. Once he got to the top of that mountain,
and that's why I've been trying to say. As for the reason why Jordan is my GOAT, bro. Like, the fact that you played offense to its highest degree and then played defense for a guard at its highest degree, all while winning? What can you say about him? What can you say? That's why I said I'm not really taking the whole you lose, you just were like I can't say if you're beatable that you can't be the GOAT. No, bro. Because there's plenty of players who we call some of the GOATs, the greatest, in top 5 that was getting beat, bro. You feel me? A lot of people have Shaq in their top 5, bro. Shaq was getting beat in Orlando. You feel me? So it just doesn't make sense. You feel me?
He was looking down at everyone else. But what about before then? I hear the skeptics among you ask. And that's a fair point. He wasn't always that guy. Before the Bulls broke through in '91, Jordan suffered defeat in the playoffs to the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics, and most memorably, the Detroit Pistons. And I've seen this misconception that those losses all took place while Jordan was still basically on his own without Phil Jackson and Scottie Pippen. And that's obviously not correct. All 4 of the Piston losses took place while Scottie was on the team. And in 1990, Phil Jackson was the coach, and the Bulls won 55 games, just 4 fewer than the Pistons. You can blame it on whatever. Injuries, the Pistons' patented Jordan rules, and even Jordan himself. It's a fair point of criticism to point out that Michael Jordan's Bulls lost in the playoffs early in his career. However, you can't stop the conversation there. Yeah, the Bulls got swept by the '86 Celtics, but come on. That team is pretty universally regarded as Bird's best team, and one.
Because I know there's some Bird fans in this video. I know there's some Bird fans here. Listen, I support Bird. I literally have Bird as my number 2 all time. A lot of y'all think I'm playing favoritism, I'm just biased and all this stuff like that. If I was biased, Bird is not even touching my top 10. I'm just being real. I've heard a lot of people who talk about these GOAT debates that don't even have Bird in their top 10. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not being biased, but I've literally been saying this. I've been saying it's young Jordan, even if he did have Scottie Pippen and all them and all that, whatever. You feel me? Like, it's not like the Boston Celtics were the only one beating the Bulls. We just heard it was the Detroit Pistons. It was also, you know what I'm saying? Oh, what was the other team? I already forgot already. What the fuck? Oh, the Milwaukee Bucks, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were already beating Jordan. So it's not even a thing where it's just Boston. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, you gotta lose to win sometimes. You gotta taste losing to win. That's just how it is sometimes. You feel me?
One of the best teams of all time after they went on to win the title. The fact that Jordan hung 63 on them, a record that still stands, is outstanding. The '87 Celtics also made the finals. So did the '88 Pistons, and the '89 Pistons, and the 1990 Pistons. Of Jordan's 6 pre-title playoff losses, 5 of them made the NBA Finals, and 3 of them ended up winning the whole thing. They're losses nonetheless. But it wasn't like he was being beat by the Washington Generals. He was losing and sharpening his teeth against the best.
Exactly. He was literally losing the championship teams. I was saying, I literally said when Prime was, I said Prime. Larry was them. That was Larry's prime. If you want to be real, that was his prime. So imagine Larry in his prime also having a good team. He's losing to them. I don't give you no excuses, Jordan. You should have at least got a game. That's the only thing I say, Jordan. I'm gonna get on your ass for. You should have at least got a game. I ain't gonna lie. You could have got a game. But losing the series, all right, fine, bro. I mean, you going against a good ass team, bro. I ain't gonna say like your team isn't decent, but it's cool. Their team was good. We heard it. Their team went on to win the championships, 3 out of the 5. So at the end of the day, they was getting him prepared. That's why I said as soon as Larry left the league, Jordan instantly went into winning. I don't even think IT might have still been in the league, but I don't even know on that one. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I don't even know if IT was in the league when Jordan went to his first finals, or maybe he was. I don't even remember. You know what I'm saying? But like all those dudes were sharpening him to get into the finals. You feel me?
Whatever it's worth, and it's worth, and sharpening his teeth against the best. For whatever it's worth, and it's worth something. Speaking of Phil and Scottie, another point of contention with Jordan's claim to the throne is the fact that he played for the most decorated coach in basketball and with the best sidekick in sports, along with a team that did their jobs to a T and bought into the team. As for Scottie, there are some people out there who would have you believe that Scottie Pippen was nothing more than a glorified role player. They'll say he didn't have the game to carry a team to a title, and he didn't have the aptitude to spend too much time in the spotlight. They'd have you believe that Scottie Pippen was nothing without Michael Jordan. And that's ridiculous. You can disagree with me, but for my money, Scottie Pippen is the best perimeter defender imaginable. He combined size with uncanny court vision a la Bird and LeBron, knew exactly when to pick his spots and when to defer, and brought a component of selflessness and fraternity to the Bulls that might not have existed otherwise. He was approachable and likable, the counterbalance to Jordan's unyielding intensity. Most importantly, Scottie accepted and flourished in his role. The amount of credit that he deserves and does not get is unfortunate. Same with other players like Horace Grant and Tony Kukoc. Michael Jordan didn't win those championships alone, and those guys all deserve more recognition. When it comes to Phil Jackson, it's been fascinating to revisit Jordan's approach to the game and see how it changed under Jackson. Guys like Mike, Kobe, and Wilt all approached basketball in a similar way, in that they felt that the best chance their team had to win was for them to have the ball in their hands as much as possible. These days, we'd call what they did iso ball or hero ball. Isolate against the defender, tell everyone to get out of the way, and beat your man one-on-one. Watching Mike's early years, it sticks out.
My only thing about that, though, of playing hero ball is, only time I feel like hero ball is, you can't do it all game, obviously, but where it's acceptable is if you've actually built up a little bit of a resume. You know what I'm saying? You have to build up that resume of being trustworthy when it comes to give me the ball, get the fuck out the way. You have to build up a resume to be able to do that. Not everybody can just do it. So for example, for me and my Warriors, when Jordan Poole was on our team trying to play hero ball, Kuminga now would be trying to play hero ball. It's like you haven't done nothing. Like, you should be taking a step back and letting somebody else do something because you haven't done nothing. So that's just my way I look at it. Like, hero ball is not a bad thing, but you have to have a resume to be able to, like, try to do that.
Tell everyone to get out of the way and beat your man one-on-one. Watching Mike's early years, it sticks out, painfully at times. Shooting over triple teams, refusing to give the ball up, even if a teammate had an open look. Kobe patterned his game after Jordan, and you can see the same tendencies. Wilt was, of course, a prolific scorer and record setter in his own right, and did so in a manner that gained him the reputation of being selfish.
If I'm Wilt, I'm not
Jackson's philosophical influences, the triangle offense, and a stellar supporting cast, Jordan learned to dial those tendencies back and perfect his game, resulting in one of the most dominant stretches any athlete has ever had in their sport. Of course, he still had the stuff to go and win his one-on-one battles, but he walked the line as well as anyone ever has. Kobe did the same thing. He won 3 championships with Shaq at the beginning of the decade of the aughts, and finished the decade with back-to-back championships. Now, who was Kobe's coach during those championship years? Who was it that helped him tailor his game to a more team-friendly approach, so as to unlock the group's championship potential? Oh yeah, it was Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson should, and does, get praise for managing some of the most eclectic locker rooms in basketball, satiating some of the most headstrong egos in the world, and providing an environment where the most talked about team with the most popular athlete could do their jobs. The Bulls' success might not have been what it was without Scottie Pippen. It might not have happened without Phil Jackson, and Horace Grant, and Tony Kukoc, and Steve Kerr, and Bill Cartwright, and all of those guys. Basketball is a team game after all. But it's our fault that they might not get talked about as much as they should. We are the people who talk about these kinds of things and create the dialogue that takes place about them. That doesn't somehow discredit what Jordan did for those teams or nullify what he contributed. Yeah, Scottie was a perfect sidekick. Yes, Phil Jackson was a masterful coach. Those things can still be true, and Michael Jordan can still be the greatest of all time. Scottie accepted his role on the team. He accepted that he was going to be the second guy. Jordan still had...
But that's my thing. Why do people even get on Jordan for, like, having Scottie and having Phil Jackson? Like, why do people even get on him, bro? Like that's it's almost like a thing where folks that don't want to put Jordan as the GOAT literally go back and, like, contradict themselves like crazy, y'all. They contradict themselves. Because why can't he be the GOAT? Just because he had help. He like, everybody needs help. No, when he was trying to do it by himself, he wasn't winning shit. So I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't, bro. Like,
to go out there and do his job as the guy. he still had to set the tone of every practice and every game.
He still was the
had
leader.
to put the ball in the hole, share responsibilities guarding the other team's best player, take over when games started slipping out of hand, and, at the end of the game, take the last shot. It doesn't work unless Mike does what everyone expects him to, which is to be the best player in the world. As for Phil, yes, it is true that he tempered Michael's worst impulses. He helped sand off the rough edges and align the team. But Mike still had to accept that coaching. He had to adapt his game and do the work. Plus, isn't it a coach's job to coach? Why is it a knock on Jordan that his coach was good at his job? Michael Jordan doesn't deserve all of the credit for their success. But he does deserve the lion's share of credit because he shouldered the lion's share of responsibility of such an incredible team. How incredible of a team were they? Well, the 1996 Chicago Bulls finished the regular season 72-10. That's more wins than anyone had ever won, and a record that most people thought would never be broken. And not only were they such a prolific regular season team, but they capped off that season with a championship to deliver the most successful season that...
No hate to the Bulls, man. Good job for getting the job done, bro. But it's not about the words, man. It's not.
They capped off that season with a championship to deliver the most successful season.
Alright, y'all, let me check on my other video. It's uploading. Alright, y'all, we back.
That any NBA team has ever had. Which brings us to another common Jordan barb. The fact that the NBA was, at the time, looking to capitalize on its enormous popularity and expand into more media markets. From 1988 to 1995, the league saw 6 new teams enter the league, and with each new team, the talent pool of the league got a little more diluted and a little more diluted. As far as I'm concerned, this is a perfectly valid point to bring up when discussing whether or not 72 wins validates the 1996 Bulls as the best basketball team of all time. I don't think it disqualifies them, in the same way that I don't think that just taking 72 wins at face value automatically puts them at the top. But when people try to say that Michael Jordan played in a weak era or didn't face tough competition, it makes me want to pull my teeth out with pliers. We know who Jordan was losing to, so who is he beating once his reign began? John Starks, Charles Oakley, and Patrick Ewing on the New York Knicks, the Bad Boy Pistons, Magic Johnson.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah. MJ was still beating on the Pistons. He was still beating on the Pistons, even though it was the tail end of Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons and everything like that. But he was still beating on them. It's tail end of Magic, but he was still beating on Magic. You know what I'm saying? The same way. Tail end of Bird and them was beating on MJ. Like I said, it's just a thing that happens in the league, y'all. This thing that happens in the league, man. This happens all the time. You see the new gen right now are beating on the old gen. They beating on Curry. They beating on Bron. Ant just beat Bron. He just beat Curry. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just how the league goes. You know what I'm saying?
Clyde Drexler, Dominique Wilkins, Charles Barkley, Alonzo Mourning,
These are
Larry
great.
Johnson, Tim Hardaway, Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway, Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, Chris Webber, John Stockton, Karl Malone, and Reggie Miller. Basically every relevant basketball player from the 1990s beside David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon. And no, I don't care to count up how many All-NBA opponents the Bulls saw versus someone else, or how many All-Star teammates Jordan had versus other players, or any of that. Because 1, the players on that list all passed the smell test of a competitive era with flying colors. 2, I don't care about that stuff. And 3, because, like I have said and will continue to say, everybody has advantages. Everybody. You become great by capitalizing on the moments when everything lines up for you. You seize the opportunity and capitalizing on the moments when everything lines up for you. You seize the opportunity and press the advantage. So what if the Bulls were expected to win? They did win, and they were expected to win because Michael Jordan tipped the scales in their favor against everybody. And as a final objection, people who are looking to dethrone Jordan will tell you that he was an asshole to his teammates, that he alienated those who he didn't deem worthy or tough enough.
And that's what got them 6 chips. That's why I don't ever do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when it comes to Draymond, because Draymond's who you could say now is a bully in the locker room, a locker room cancer and everything. We don't have them chips without Draymond. We don't. We do not. Hence as to why he's still on the goddamn team. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and Kobe, bro, sometimes you gotta be an asshole. You have to. If you've played sports, we all know that one person that was an asshole on the team that made us win, though. It pushed us to winning. So that's why I don't take the whole asshole thing. Like, I don't use that against no player, bro. I don't.
Told to his teammates that he alienated those who he didn't deem worthy or tough enough to play alongside him, and he refused to respect or trust them. And that is a fact. He was an asshole. He punched multiple teammates in the face, belittled his peers for mishandling passes, and spoke to his teammates in a way that would not fly in 2020. It's a fact that feels especially stark when you take into account the impact that more reserved and compassionate leaders like Tim Duncan and Bill Russell had on their teams. It is possible to win in the NBA without being a jerk, but it's also possible to win while being a jerk. And remember, Jordan wasn't lashing out for no reason. He wasn't walking into the gym just looking for an ego boost and to demean someone while he took the day off. He wanted his teammates to work as hard as he did.
Yeah.
He had to make them understand that the Bulls could not be playing games because they wanted to win. They had to play as if they needed to win. Because psychologically, Jordan did. Take Tim Duncan and compare him to Michael Jordan. You never hear about Tim Duncan really tearing into some dude in front of the whole team at practice. You never hear about Mike not taking the opportunity to chew out a teammate that could have done something better. They are polar opposites when it comes to how they led, but they were both leaders, and both of their styles worked. In the same way that not everybody could play for the Spurs, not everybody could play for the Bulls. If you couldn't handle the team first, no one is above the group approach that the Spurs culture built, you weren't playing with Tim Duncan. And if you couldn't handle getting called out, being pushed past your stress point, and playing without fear, you were not playing with Michael Jordan. They both shared a common vision of basketball perfection. They set a high standard and expected everyone around them to work as hard as they did at achieving that standard. If you didn't, you were out. So yeah, Michael wasn't nice. Not everyone could get along with him. If he had spent his years in the league making a villain out of himself and making enemies out of everyone else, toiling away in the postseason without ever breaking through, that would be one thing. But what he did worked. It produced results. And speaking of results, the guy won 6 effing rings. And he won all of them as the best player. I know that the people who want to discredit Jordan have already found a million ways to get around 6 rings, but I don't buy any of them. It is literally the best claim that any player has to the throne.
Facts. Facts. At the end of the day, bro, chips matter. I mean, chips, you people will say chips don't matter to a degree, but not if you're the best player on the team. If you're the best player on the team, bro, chips matter. Chips matter. All right? Because you mean to tell me you was able to get, like, Jordan was able to get 6 rings while being the best player? You can have a good team all you want, but if let's say Jordan had these 6 rings and 3 of the rings, he wasn't the best player, we don't talk about Jordan the same way we do now. We don't. And that's a fact. But imagine if he, bro, man, y'all better, folks got to put more respect on Jordan's name.
He won more championships as the best player on the team than anyone but Bill Russell. But Jordan did it with more teams and more variables that could have set the team back. He checks all of the boxes. He had more success than Wilt, had more statistical prestige than Russell, had a higher peak than Bird or Magic, and leveraged that peak for more titles as the guy than Kareem. He was the ultimate closer. He lived for the moments that decide games. As an individual talent, he is an A+, as special as you can get, as well-rounded as anyone ever. As a team athlete, his place in the game is immortalized. Listen, it's impossible to watch Michael Jordan and not romanticize him. No object in the world looks more natural than a basketball in Michael Jordan's hand. It's like the ball was designed for him, or like he was made for the ball.
Holy glaze, but he's not lying. Holy glaze, but he ain't lying. Bro, it is beautiful to see Jordan dribble basketball. I'm not gonna lie. And do whatever, shooting a 3, shooting a mid-range, dribbling it, crossing it, like dunking, it don't matter. So he's not lying, but holy glaze. You hear me?
It's like the ball was designed for him, or like he was made for the ball, or both. You can't appreciate Michael Jordan without hyperbole and superlatives. He is the avatar of sport. He is competition incarnate. His defining trait remains his insatiable need to win. He wanted to win at everything. When he came into the league, there were questions about his shooting and his defense. So he became a Defensive Player of the Year and a mid-range marksman. He heard he couldn't win for years, so he took it all out on his competition and led his teams to 2 separate three-peats. He ironed out all of his flaws because he would accept no result but victory. So don't even start to tell me that he wouldn't have developed a three-point shot today.
Oh, he definitely
And more than
would've.
anything, sport is an art form, isn't it? It's expression. It's theater and it's storytelling. Part of sports is the excitement, the show. And Michael Jordan was the most dynamic show in the world during the end of the century. Part of it too is because the Jordan show wasn't terribly complicated. There wasn't a lot of baggage attached to the Michael Jordan experience. The things that he did made people believe, if only for a few moments, in superheroes. When spectators looked at him, hoping to find something to connect with, they found the indomitability of human will. The old sports cliche fully realized that the game is won by the team who wants it more. And we all like to think of ourselves like that we are wired like Jordan. But let's face it, we're not all like that. That's what
At
made
all.
him special. There's only one Michael Jordan.
Yup.
As for the story, how's this? There's a guy who is knocking on the door of the Pantheon. He has been for a while now. He captures the imagination of everyone who has ever seen him play. He might well be the most talented player to ever lace up a pair of shoes, but he just can't seem to break through. He loses in the playoffs against the same team over and over and over. Every year, he gets a little bit closer and a little bit closer until finally he breaks through. His talent is justified with 1, 2, 3 championships, all in a row. It hadn't been done in 30 years. Now there's talk about how this guy might not just be the best talent, he might be the best ever. And as he's climbed the mountain, he has become the most famous athlete in the world. And then he retires, only to come back a year and a half later. In his first full year back from retirement, they win the title. He is back. And then they do it again. By now, he is practically lapping every other player historically. Every image of Michael Jordan in recent memory is of his team holding the trophy. By 1998, he had won 5 championships in 7 years, 3 in a row, and then back to back. And now it was the end, the last year of everyone's contracts. The team's blowing it up. This is their last ride, the last dance. They're running on fumes, but they climb all the way back up the mountain to the top. They're back in the final.
And the year that they won, I said the year that they won. The fact that they won the year of everyone's like last contract is honestly actually so special. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, we already know, if you watch the NBA and you watch sports in general, you know how tough it is once everybody's in contract seasons to even get there, let alone win. Special, man.
The target on their backs has never been bigger. The pressure has never been heavier. In Game 6, on the road, looking to wrap up an unprecedented second three-peat in a game with more people watching than in any other game, it goes down to the wire. The Utah Jazz won't go away. Unfortunately for them, they're playing against Michael Jordan, who saved his best for last. Here is Michael Jordan's final shot as a Chicago Bull.
Damn, man. Like, that's literally, bro, that's just greatness, bro. Is that all? Hey, man, shout out to Clayton, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Literally shout out to Clayton for this breakdown. But yeah, bro, you can't even deny Jordan, bro. You just can't deny him as the number one, bro. He's the number one, bro. And I remember hearing in a video that Jordan had never even been to a Game 7 in the finals before. Bro, he was getting folks up out of here without going to a Game 7 in the finals? You literally can't do nothing about that, bro. The greatest. Number one all time.